Tax code. Tax code was definitely related to Mitt Romney. And he didn't mention Mitt Romney, but when you talk about people should pay a fair tax, this isn't about being envious of rich people. And he even referenced himself, which was, I thought, interesting, because a lot of the times during a State of the Union address, the president will not really reference himself in the grand context of what he's discussing. But President Obama said, people like me who can afford to pay more taxes are not going to stimulate the economy by getting a tax break. And that's exactly what we've been saying for a long time. And it's just logical. Basic economics tells you that.
Absolutely.
And it was a reference to Mitt Romney because just hours prior, Mitt Romney released his tax returns. We were going back and forth for a while now about, is Mitt Romney going to release these tax returns or isn't he going to? And I have to tell you, Louis, the tax returns are disturbing. Not at all because Mitt Romney makes a lot of money. Everybody knew Mitt Romney made a lot of money. Everyone knew Mitt Romney had a lot of money. The question was, based on his tax policy and based on the taxes he pays, and based on his statements about being unemployed, just like the group of unemployed voters he said that to, or saying, you know, I really did work, I just kind of did a little speaking and made not too much money, turned out to be close to $400,000. Those comments make the tax returns disturbing, and we'll go through it. And one of the biggest things is, when we look at the tax returns, is that Mitt Romney pays, he says he's around 15% effective tax rate. He paid 13.9% tax on the over $20 million that he made last year, or in 2010. And when you look at that and you say, hold on a second, what would his own tax proposal do? It could cut his tax rate even more. You have to say to yourself, is this guy really looking out for middle-class people? And if you're one of these Republicans who says, I believe in the American dream, I too may one day be rich, you need to understand the odds of you ever being as rich as Mitt Romney are what? Infinitesimal. I mean, we're talking about one in a billion almost.
Probably better than that.
Slightly better than 1 in a billion, yeah. And so when you look at that and you say Romney makes more in the average day than the average person makes in a year, and he's paying half the tax rate, that's a question of fairness. It's not a question of envy. And you would think Republicans would get that because Republicans like the ability to make a lot of money. And you would think they like rich people, too. So why is Mitt Romney going out of his way to shield his income for a while? He's arguing with Newt Gingrich during debates about who actually makes less. Had a Republican debate arguing about who makes less. I thought the argument was about who made more.
Well, fairness is subjective, right? I mean, if everybody pays the same tax rate, couldn't that be considered fair?
No. Well, some people might consider it fair. People who think logically wouldn't.
But how many voters think logically?
Well, I guess we'll see. The other thing also is that Romney has paid almost no payroll taxes because he did make most of that money doing not as earned wages. He's paying almost no payroll tax, if he paid any payroll tax at all. So you have to figure in that sense, he's actually contributing almost nothing to Medicare, Social Security, and all of those programs that presumably are patriotic, that are there to help people. Mitt Romney is investing almost nothing in those programs. And then the most interesting thing for me, of all of this, is where Mitt Romney is keeping some of his money, Louis. Mitt Romney keeping money, investing money in the Cayman Islands, and he has money in Swiss bank accounts. He has money in Luxembourg. Wait a second, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Mitt Romney who criticizes President Obama for wanting to move to a European-styled nation. He criticizes Europe. Turns out he speaks French, and Newt Gingrich criticizes him for that because it's seen as a negative within the Republican Party. And that's where he keeps his money? He must like something about their economic system if he feels that it has led to this haven for keeping his money safe.
Or a man who has no faith in our economic system.
Or maybe that's what it means. Maybe Romney has such little faith in the American economy that he is moving his money elsewhere. But you know what? Do you have to go to Europe? Is that really where you have to go if you don't like Europe so much and you dislike everything about European society? That's where you're putting their money?
Or you could go to Canada or Mexico.
And some aides said that he closed his Swiss account in 2010 because it might have been politically embarrassing. Well, it is. It's politically embarrassing. Luxembourg is politically embarrassing. Cayman Islands investments are politically embarrassing because it's a known tax haven. This is embarrassing, and it's not being made a big deal out of. It's really not. There is nothing patriotic about moving your money offshore. There is certainly nothing patriotic about investing less than 15% of your income, half of what someone earning $50,000 a year would make. He's making that in a day, Louis, in a day.
Lucky guy. And he might be the president.
Well, that's the thing. And so people will point and they'll say, well, you know what? We need a person with good business sense to be the president. What president have we had that's been a successful president with a business background? I can't think of one. And you know what? I actually heard last night on the Lawrence O'Donnell show, Tim Pawlenty say, you know who did? Ronald Reagan. He was kind of a business guy. I mean, he was kind of self-employed because he was an actor. He worked for himself. Ronald Reagan was the president of the Actors Union. He was the president of a union, which is supposedly evil. Ronald Reagan is the best you can do to say business people are good presidents. There are no examples of it. So the idea that Mitt Romney's business background makes him a good presidential contender, completely bogus. I don't buy it at all. We have no evidence of that.
We have no evidence. Also, we can't say the contrary. We can't say it would be a bad thing.
No, we can't say that. But there's certainly
right.
pointing to that as a positive is based on nothing right now. Okay.